Max Verstappen just did the one thing every team on the grid was hoping he wouldn't do. He showed up late to Barcelona, with a brand new engine, and in less than 5 hours. He posted one of the cleanest, fastest, most reliable runs of the entire test. And here's the insane part. Red Bull missed 2 full days, and still outperformed teams that ran non-stop. Now the truth is out. Red Bull's new engine didn't break. It didn't overheat. It didn't fail. It worked, almost perfectly. And if what we saw on that final day is even close to what's coming in Bahrain, then the rest of the grid is in serious trouble. Stick around, because the numbers don't lie. And what we're about to show you might flip the championship on its head. Let's get one thing straight. Red Bull wasn't expected to dominate this test. Not with a brand new power unit. Not after losing 2 full days. Not after Verstappen himself told the media, "Don't expect miracles." Everyone was watching them closely, waiting for warning lights. For overheating. For electrical glitches. For some kind of explosion. Why? Because the last time Formula 1 saw a brand new engine project, launched under a brand new name, it was a disaster. Ask McLaren. Ask Honda. Ask anyone who lived through the hybrid era of 2014. New engines don't just work. They fail. They break. They embarrass you. And when you're Red Bull, the reigning dynasty, the last thing you want is to show up to preseason and fall apart on day 1. And it almost happened. Because on Wednesday, Red Bull wasn't running laps. They weren't testing setups. They weren't logging data. They were sitting in the garage, watching Isaac Hadjar's wrecked car get flown back from the track, waiting for replacement parts, burning hours, burning days, 2 entire sessions, gone. And by the time Verstappen finally stepped into the RB22 on Friday, Red Bull had completed exactly 0 meaningful laps. No baseline. No tire testing. No long runs. Nothing. They weren't just behind schedule. They were staring straight at disaster. Everyone expected them to coast through Friday. Stay conservative. Play it safe. But what happened next was not safe. It was clinical. Relentless. And it sent a message to every team watching. Red Bull isn't going anywhere. Friday morning. Final day of testing. The garage opens. And there he is. Max Verstappen, helmet on, dead silent. No interviews. No smiles. Just focus. The car rolls out. Lap 1. Then lap 2. Then 10. Then 20. No glitches. No engine issues. No slow installation laps. Red Bull is running. Hard. Fast. Clean. By mid-morning, Verstappen has already logged more laps than some teams managed on an entire test day. He doesn't stop. 50 laps. 70. 90. The energy deployment? Stable. The hybrid system? Seamless. Temperatures? Under control. And the paddock? Silent. By the time Verstappen pulls into the garage at the end of the day, he's logged 118 laps. Over 500 kilometers. On a brand new car. With a brand new engine. And no meaningful prep. That's not just impressive. That's historic. No team in the hybrid era has ever launched a new power unit and completed that kind of mileage on day 1. And here's the thing. Verstappen wasn't even pushing. His fastest time? 1 minute. 17.586. On a medium compound. No quali setup. No engine turned up. No softs. That lap? It was nothing more than a systems check. And he still beat cars that had been dialing in setups all week. He still came within range of Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston. And he still had pace left on the table. But that wasn't even the scariest part. Because the real message wasn't the time. It wasn't the mileage. It wasn't even the engine. It was Verstappen himself. The way he drove. The way he handled the car. The way he looked when he stepped out of the cockpit. Calm. Composed. Unshaken. He wasn't relieved. He was ready. And now, so is the RB22. For the first time since 2007, Red Bull came to testing. With an engine carrying their own name. Not Honda. Not Renault. Not a rebadge. Red Bull Powertrains. Powered by Ford. A new hybrid system. New battery architecture. New software. New control units. And 0 public track time before Barcelona. It had every reason to go wrong. Just listen to what Verstappen said before the test. We expect issues. There's still a lot to learn. Even Red Bull's own team warned that Barcelona wasn't about speed. It was about survival. But when the RB22 finally hit the track, there were no warnings. No flags. No failures. Just clean, unbroken running. And here's the insane part. Red Bull didn't just run with Max Verstappen. They also gathered data through their sister team, Racing Bulls. Between the two teams, the brand new RB22 engine completed 624 laps. That's over 26 full race distances, on a unit that had never done public mileage before this week. And across all of it, no overheating, no hybrid shutdowns, no battery faults, nothing. This wasn't luck. It was design. Because Red Bull didn't just build this engine to match the competition. They built it around Verstappen. Smaller packaging, more efficient cooling, ultra-tight energy deployment windows. This is not a copy of Honda's last V6. This is a weapon. Sources close to the team revealed the RB22 was already running high-efficiency ERS mapping. Not full power, but fully mapped for Bahrain-style temps. And even in that conservative mode, they were hitting top speeds, within striking distance of Ferrari and Mercedes, without the drag, without the overheating. That's not potential. That's proof. And it's no coincidence that engineers in Red Bull's garage were seen smiling, and in some cases, tearing up. They knew what they had built. They knew the risk. And when it delivered, they knew exactly what it meant. Red Bull's biggest weakness may now be their greatest strength. And if this engine keeps running clean in Bahrain, then every other team just ran out of excuses. You can tell a lot about a driver before they even speak, by how fast they climb out of the car, by whether they glance at the mechanics, or walk straight to the engineers, by the tension in their shoulders, or the lack of it. And when Verstappen pulled into the garage, after running 118 flawless laps, he didn't look surprised. He didn't look tired. He didn't even look relieved. He looked bored. But that boredom wasn't disappointment. It was control. The kind of control you only get when the machine beneath you feels like an extension of your own instinct. He walked like a man who knew the car wasn't perfect, but close enough to start thinking about race wins. And that should scare everyone. Because here's the truth most people miss. Max Verstappen doesn't need to dominate every test. He doesn't need to top every session. He doesn't even need to talk trash in the media. All he needs is belief. And what we saw in Barcelona was the first sign that belief is back. Remember 2021? When Verstappen was still fighting Hamilton, tooth and nail. Every single weekend, he was sharper, meaner, hungrier. But after 2 dominant seasons, some said he'd gotten comfortable, that the edge was gone, that the fight had left him. Not anymore. Because when you give Max Verstappen a car he trusts, one that rotates on command, holds grip on worn tires, and doesn't throw surprises at him in high-speed corners, he becomes something else entirely. Not just fast, not just confident, unstoppable. And the way he handled Barcelona? The patience, the efficiency, the lack of mistakes. It looked like a man who's not preparing for another title run. He's expecting it. Red Bull showed up late, missed over 48 hours, had 0 baseline, 0 setup correlation, 0 media runs. And in one day, they delivered a lap time within reach of Ferrari and Mercedes. They completed more laps than Alpine, Aston, and Haas. They ran a brand new engine, without a single mechanical failure. Now ask yourself, if that's what they did at 80%, with fuel in the tank, on medium tires, no low fuel quali sim, and no custom aero package for Barcelona, what happens in Bahrain? Because that's where the car changes. That's where the engine gets turned up. That's where setups get aggressive. That's where Max Verstappen stops testing and starts hunting. And remember, Ferrari is bringing upgrades. McLaren says they're not changing a thing. Mercedes? Still working on high-speed stability. But Red Bull? They've already unlocked something most teams only dream of in February. Confidence. And don't forget the data advantage. With Racing Bulls logging extra laps, the Red Bull engineers now have double the feedback on the power unit, double the mileage, double the aero reports. They're not just learning faster, they're learning wider, across multiple drivers, in different conditions, with varying setups. While others are gathering first impressions, Red Bull is already refining. And this is the part no one's saying out loud yet. The RB22 might not be the fastest car over 1 lap, but it doesn't have to be. Because if it's more stable over long runs, if it saves tires better, if it harvests and deploys energy more consistently, then it's going to win. Again, and again, and again. Not through domination, but through relentless execution. Just like last year. Just like the year before. The only difference? Now they're doing it with their own engine. And if that power unit holds up in Bahrain, if it delivers full deployment under 38-degree heat, then everyone else might already be racing for second. Let's be honest, the whole world was watching this test to see if Red Bull would stumble. New engine, new packaging, minimal track time. It looked like the perfect storm to finally bring them down to earth. But instead, they reminded us why they're the team to beat. In just one day, Max Verstappen reset the narrative, took control, and showed the paddock that even with the odds stacked against him, he's still the benchmark. No spins, no mechanical issues, no excuses. He got in, drove clean, and walked away without ever needing to prove anything. But this isn't just about Max, or even Red Bull. It's about what comes next. Because while everyone else is still asking questions, Red Bull is answering them. With data, with laps, with silence. No hype, no mind games, just preparation. And that might be more dangerous than any pace advantage they've ever had. Now, the grid heads to Bahrain, where the temperatures rise, the setups get real, and the sand no longer hides the truth. Ferrari will bring upgrades. McLaren will look to surprise. Mercedes will hope to stop the bleeding. But Red Bull? They're not chasing anymore. They're already building the gap. So here's the final question. Did we just watch the beginning of Max Verstappen's 4th world title? Or is someone else quietly closing in? The only thing we know for sure? We won't have to wait long to find out. Because the season is about to start. And the truth is coming at full throttle.